Sigma Male Diaries Podcast. Let's get on with it, y'all.
Let's go.
We can relax, have fun, get a good laugh, get information, and enjoy the show. I need to do what it do, baby. Sigma Male.
This is your host, Nigel McKnight of Sigma Male's Diary Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it a whole lot. Thanks a million. Today, I want to discuss when a provider male hears a woman say, "I want a man who will have my back." What does it cause him to think? And the reason why I brought this up today is because of a post on Facebook that I had read, and then I, in return, had put up a post and collateral of that, right? Because, see, I explained on my podcast many times before, some people may be tired of hearing about it over and over again, but I come from the side of like a businessman, a man, average salary earning man, a high value man, a valuable man, a traditional man, a married woman, a traditional woman, a low value woman, a high value woman, and so forth, right? Because that's how I keep it equal. It's not to bash, attack, or to defame or to say derogatory statements. I will speak in colloquial terms here and there based upon the topic and or subject of my talk. But the post was that it said this: I want a man who will always have my back, and if he can't support me in whatever it is that I'm doing, then I don't need him. So, but here's the thing, as I said before, 90% of women, right? Especially in America, I'm just going to say that, right? Let's just keep it within America, right? They want six-figure earning men that's making at least 100 to 150K a year, right? Regardless if this woman was to make the same amount that he makes, or let's say she makes half or even a third of what he makes, when a man hears that, right, he look at it as, in a traditional sense. He's a leader, he's a provider, he's a protector. But when you have these guys who build themselves up and they become like business owners, or let's just say they're doctors or they're lawyers, whatever the case is, men that has careers in or businesses, right, that require a lot of their time, their investments, their attention, their energy, their effort, and financial resources, especially if they're starting their own business or if they're working and becoming an entrepreneur. I mean, it all goes into the context of when a man vets a woman, right, to be his wife, because today in modern society, it's always about a relationship, a long-term relationship, a fuck buddy or a partner, you know what I mean, or a power couple. It's never in the context of marriage where there's leadership, there's structure, there's discipline, there's cooperation, there's willingness, there's, submissiveness on both sides. You know what I mean? And you have a role, you have your duties to fulfill within that marriage. And that's why people would say, well, I just want a partner, because, they want this whole equal 50-50 thing, whereas no one leaves. Whatever way I go, whatever way you go, as long as we both cool, it's all right. And how could you be in a relationship, in a marriage, but you have this individual mindset, well, this is what I want to do. Well, yeah, that's fine, because my husband, he does what he want to do, I do what I want to do. And they always bring up this whole context of being unequally yoked. And I just had to say, listen, there's no two people that are the same. There's no such thing as unequally yoked, or it's like this. If you get with someone that's willing to compromise, because like they always say, if there's a conflict, there has to be a resolution, or there's no resolution if there is any conflict. So what I'm saying is this: it's all about compromisation, about willingness, about reciprocation. It's not about unequally yoked, because we all have our own personalities, we have our own differences, we have our own goals and our own dreams. But if you get with someone that has that same common interest and it works out, then it works out. It's just the bottom line. Either you're going to be together or you're not. You're going to agree to be together, or you're going to have disagreements and say, okay, well, we're not going to do this. The vetting process has now ended. So there's no damage, there's no time, energy. The most that has been invested is time. You probably spend money on a date or whatever the case is. But that is the investment. That's the initial investment, right? So if you're dealing with this man that has that's putting in all these hours, he's got his life together, he's ready to build his legacy, like he's ready to have children. And this is why we suggest men wait until the age of 35. Because this is the point where as men really saying, this is what I'm going to do, this is who I am, and they start to hit their financial stride by the age of 45. They start to pick up in their career, their businesses, whatever it is, until they hit their financial peak at the age of 55. So that's the goal. That's our thing. We already know the age of 35, that's when we can start vetting for wives. By the age of 45, that's when we start picking up in our income. Whether we say, okay, I'm not going to be involved in working for anyone anymore. I'm going to start my own business. We have between 45 and 55 to get this shit together. That's why they say, far as men, time works on our side and it works in the opposite side for us, where with time we become more valuable, no disrespect, but with women, as they get older, they become less valuable. And I had so many women say, well, how is that when all these young guys, but are you allowing that young man to lead though? See, are you the type of woman that says, well, shit, I'm old enough, to be your mama or to be your big sister? Like, what can you tell me? Would you always want the last word? Would you still respect him? I mean, is it any role reversals? Yeah, you may be having a good, younger guy up on you, may still look good or whatever, but are you allowing that man to lead? And that's what it boils down to, see. And that's why us men, when we're older, we go for younger women because they're more cooperative. For the ones we choose, though, like men have options, so let's just keep that straight. All right, let's just keep it 100. Excuse me. So here it is. I basically told her when she put up that post about having a man to have her back and all this other stuff and to support her. I said, listen, there's nothing wrong with a husband supporting his wife. It depends on the dynamics of that, whatever the household is going to be. Like, for example, like I said before, when you're dealing with successful men, those men, their wives don't work. I'm going to break it down so you guys can understand why I say these things. Number one, a woman in her job in the workplace, we all are aware of the possible work husbands. This is not something that's involved in insecurities, but this is the things that will add stressors onto a woman's life. Being involved with two men emotionally, like for example, this could be the one guy she always talk about her problems to. Same thing with a guy, but that's a whole nother topic. Or whatever the case is. As soon as something happened, like they may exchange numbers, whatever the case is, they could have known each other before she actually met her husband. It's the whole history. So men goes into all that stuff. Like we would literally, like, if we're vetting you, we're going to ask questions. But that's one of the reasons why a successful man would not have his wife work, because we don't need the drama for work coming into our homes. We don't need your problems that you got with your job, with your boss coming into our homes. We want our peace. We value our peace. So that's why when I say successful men, that's what I mean. A man that can afford to have a stay-at-home wife. So I just stopped it right there. So I said, if a man has a stay-at-home wife, what would he need her back for? If he's a leader, provider, and protector, and she's fulfilling everything he's fulfilling everything that she needs and all the other stuff, what is there for him to have her back for? Why should he stand behind her to say, okay, I got you, when he's focusing on his purpose and his legacy to establish generational wealth or to provide for his wife or whatever the case is? The bills, he's paying all the bills. His wife get to live, mortgage free, rent free. He has businesses. His wife can actually invest her time into the business, and she can assist in that as well, and allow that to be a part of her duty as a wife. And his business can become more successful because that's one more person that's on his team. See, ladies, you have to get on the man's program. See, when a man goes and digging into your life, what you're doing, that's why certain men don't date women that are nurses, that are lawyers, that are police officers, that are in the military, that are business owners, serial entrepreneurs. They don't date masseuses. They don't date club owners. They don't date women that's involved in doing hair. They don't date, beauticians, all that stuff. And it's a reason. Because that woman is so involved in her work, because that's her business. She got to apply her business as a priority over a man. You understand what I'm saying? So when a man is making so many sacrifices, not sleeping with women, cutting off his friends, cutting off possible family that was, distracting him, being jealous. Every time he made an accomplishment, you think you this, you think you gotta do a lot of stuff, man. And sometimes you utilize a lot of energy, man, on the wrong shit. So when a man goes through all that, becomes sexless, but yeah, he's saving his money, but he has his purpose in mind. And that's what he has to focus on. It's not so much, okay, let me start focusing on my business and let me support my wife and making her business or starting her business. That's not like for real. That's not what traditional men do. Traditional men, 1920, 1930, 1940, 1950. And I'm going to stop there because ever since the 1960s, the modern era, with the whole attitude, women, it is what it is. So like I said, I'm not going to bash it or anything, but as a man, what I'm trying to tell you is this: the more independent a woman is, the more educated she is, the more financially off she is, whether it's a business, whatever the case is, just period as an individual, that is not a woman that is fit for a traditional man. Now, you have modern men that will marry women, say, yeah, we're a power couple, we're a dynamic duo. Okay, that's one thing. He's willing to stop what he's doing or take time off. See, he got to stop what he's doing and say, okay, now let's see what you got going on over here. So why would you do that when you can have two people focusing on one thing? Y'all both are familiar with the whole process, and the energy is like it's the same. It's not like one thing is being successful over here, one thing is filling over here, or one thing is picking up over here, and one thing is picking up over here as well. Now you two running around with chickens with your head cut off. That's not living a healthy life. So when we say that men control relationships and we control the marriages, what I'm saying is since men pursue women, we say, okay, hey, I want you now. I'm not talking about a relationship. I'm not talking about modern day shit. Traditional women want traditional men. So let's keep it in a traditional sense. All right. Even modern women want traditional men. 304s, hot girl summers, city girl summers. All those women want traditional men. But they're not thinking about the effort that they will have to utilize into obtaining those type of men, such as putting themselves in those, where the men are. Those type of men is not looking for a woman on Instagram. Those type of men isn't looking for a woman on Facebook. Because you have all those women that monkey brands got all them dudes that inbox slept with 40 or 50 dudes in the last 6 or 7 months. It's true, men do it, but I'm talking about women wanting traditional men though. See, men, they get clout for sleeping with multiple women. Women, they get looked at as a 304. You got different size penises and all that stuff. pH balance getting knocked off. I mean, you have to think about it. And you're real easy. A lot of them are real quick to compare a man to another man's penis and all this other stuff. You got 6 or 7 men you could compare this one guy to. Well, I mean, one guy, girl, he was like this and like that, but he was all right. But the girl, this other dude, girl, I was like, where you gonna put that? I mean, you have women experience so much different men, like it's crazy. And that's a big difference. A man that's 6.5, 7, he's not going to do nothing for a woman that like dudes that's on Pornhub and Black, whatever, they call it other shit, man. I see it a lot. But then you have to look at it as, dang, I've been with this guy, been with that guy. This guy do it one way, but this other guy, he do it the other way. But it is what it is. Then I'm about to call somebody else. I mean, and it's just crazy. So when men walk around and vent their wives, they don't want to walk around with a woman that has that type of history. As far as even you not having a healthy relationship with your family, having toxic parents, toxic siblings, dysfunctional, like everything. Like we look at that shit will spill over into our house. We're not moving into your house. We're talking about our house. You're getting on our program. So you, in traditional sense, the wife left her home, the daughter left her home, and she went and lived with her husband. Wasn't her husband moving in with his fucking wife, with her mom and her dad. So when you look at all these beta males and these simps moving in with these women, paying bills at her house and paying bills at his house, I mean, it's better to have 2 incomes in one house. But then when you move into a woman house as a man, a woman who never respected you, she disrespected your money and what you done for her. That's why she would still cheat on this guy with other guys. You know what I mean? You look at him like, damn, that's an odd couple, but you never know what's going on behind, closed doors. So, secondly, I told her, if you look at it like that, that is a woman who look as if she wants to be in a leadership position, whereas her man is behind her. You said having your back. So while you're leading, you're looking for him to assist you or backing you up just in case something goes wrong, or to assist you with what you're doing so it won't be as stressful. And women, I mean, they can't handle stress, man. Like even having their own businesses, even going to work, Like, women get stressed out a lot, man. And for a man to say, okay, I'm going to assist you, but then you fall apart, and then at the same time when you falling apart because you choose to do your own thing, he got to take time out, sacrifice again to cater, to appease, to assist. I mean, that's not our role. Like, women, like, you have to understand, if you have a death in the family, cool. If something happens with you and your BFF, you got one homegirl, it's not all, 6 different homegirls. You at it with one homegirl one day to the next day. Like, we're not dealing with that shit. That's why they say you attract who you are. That's why, man, like, if we have a certain circle, we're going to get a woman that blends in with what we're doing. We're not going to do too many adjustments. That's more energy, time, effort, and attention. Get it through. These women should be taught and raised to be wives based upon the type of man or man that they want as a husband. Period. But they move as individuals. They want to do their own things, do this, say F a man this, F a man that, until they get older. They want to call themselves settle it down. But like I said, when you hit 35, that's when your sexual marketplace value drops. I'm just going to tell you the age of 30. That's when it drops, though. And if you have children, it drops significantly. Successful men aren't willing to be stepfathers. Not men who want to create their own legacy, ladies. So yeah, you can have a fantasy. Well, I want a guy that's earning this much. I want a guy, but you got a whole package deal that you're talking about. A man has to accept. No, he don't. Well, it's a lot of men out there that's good stepfathers, okay? But are you respecting them? What happened? Y'all broke up? He's not there? Well, I mean, what happened? So you can't say that. It's real hard to satisfy, some women. A lot of women aren't easy to satisfy. You know what I mean? They'll deal with one dude for one thing. Men do it too, but when I say with a woman want a man to do a specific thing that's reversing the roles, and we call that role reversals, that's not cool. A lot of men aren't having that in 2022, man. A lot of men are awoke, or they woke, or they had waking up, or they awakened, whatever the case is, whatever you want to call it, but men are aware. Let's just put it like that. And they're saying no. A lot of women are getting rejected, and they're going to continue to get rejected. You can't possibly move and live your life as I want, I do. This is for me. I'm going to have my fun. And then you expect a man that was busting his ass the whole time while you was ripping, running the streets, playing, belonging to the streets and all this other stuff. And now he's sitting up on 6 figures, and all of a sudden you're supposed to have that thrown in your lap. You've been around so many different men. You don't even know how to mold yourself to this one man. You've been around different personalities. I mean, and all this other crazy stuff, had different experiences, whether it was toxic, some good, some bad, whatever the case is. But why would a man have to deal with a woman that experienced that, though? That's why, like I said, successful men, especially black men, that's why you find them marrying outside of their race, our race. It's not about, oh, we want slaves. No, we want women that understand what marriage is. It's not about supporting you. I mean, in traditional days, what did a husband have to do to support his wife? Support her. He had to pay the bills. He had to protect her. He had to provide her some type of comfort. Like I said, back then, women, they wasn't having all types of different homegirls and friends. They had like this 1 or 2 close friends. We know this, man. So it wasn't a whole bunch of drama going back and forth, all this backbiting and your homegirl sleeping with your man and all this other type of stuff, man. Women didn't do that. Their lives was less stressful. That's why they were more happier back then. And women talking about, oh, they were weak back then. Oh, they were stupid and letting their man cheat on them. But guess what? Y'all shared men today. Y'all talking about y'all martyr women. Okay, it's no one specific. I'm not attacking anyone. But what I'm saying is they would talk about a man living at home with his mother. But they would sleep with a married man that's living with his wife. I mean, his wife is living in the house with the wife in the house still. Who loses? If something was to transpire. Not that man that's so-called living with his mom. Because that man's stacking his money and they splitting that mortgage or whatever, where that husband is paying for everything. In most cases, in the traditional sense. So 1 or 2 things happen. His wife accepts the fact that he cheated or whatever the case is. You understand what I'm saying? Or they get a divorce and he lose half of everything. Whatever the case is. Because in traditional times, women, not African American women, not the majority at all, were out owning their husbands. They couldn't even fucking vote. They couldn't even get a job. Some of us still, our relatives still pick cotton. While our husbands was freed and stuff like, and some of their wives still remain slaves, man. Traditional women back then appreciated men. Period. They appreciate the fact of just having a man. Whether they shared or not, those women were still happy. I'm not saying accept it today and make it a part of your life to deal with polygamy and all this other crazy stuff. But misogyny, that stuff not really popping off like that. You know what I'm saying? Or monogamy, excuse me. Monogamy, I'm sorry. Alright? But in the whole context of this, when a woman put herself in a leadership position and a man comes into her life, right then and there, she's going to look at equal roles. Well, I'm leading this, doing this for me, and whatever the case is. She's not going to be as cooperative, submissive, or willing. And that's all I'm saying. I mean, ladies, you have to, and fellas, it's a lot of men out there that's not saying anything. And I understand a lot of men, live with their wives. I mean, it is their wife's house. They live with their girlfriends. They had close relationships with their mother and only looked at it from the perspective that their mother has given them, only from what they've seen, not knowing what their father had to say. But because they was there to see their mom cry or make bad choices, man after man, that's all he's seeing. He's not concerned about anything. He's concerned about catering to his mom, appeasing to her needs, making sure she's emotionally fulfilled, not even getting a chance to be a child. He was robbed of his childhood as a man. So guess what happens? That becomes a part of who he is. A beta male. A simp, a man that will invest in a woman without little effort. All he has to feel is her hurt emotions, her needs, her wants, her desires. And he's going to try to fulfill that because his mother, that's all she ever wanted, and that's all he can do because that's the only man she allowed in her life to really be like her, like when they have son husbands. Especially when their sons are 19 and 20, they grown. A lot of us will hear this. Oh, I don't need a man. I got you, son. Come on now. I don't need a man. I got you, son. Fucking nigga. What a man can do for me. I don't trust them. You my son. I trust you. I know you ain't gonna let nothing happen to me. That's that guilt thing right there. Throw all that on his plate and say, okay, well, since mom depended on me, I gotta be here. I can't leave my mom. I gotta stay. And he make that a priority over his own goddamn purpose and legacy. So don't sit there and act as if when you're dealing with a man, he's supposed to follow you. When a woman controls a household, that is a dangerous thing. Emotional. That is turmoil, not to be funny. You have some women that try and hold it together. But when those women close them doors and go in that room, man, they crying and falling apart. We know this is true. It happens. But see, that's what happens when you say, I got it. Now, I do for me and mine. I'm good. I don't need a man. No, thank you. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all play too much. Y'all play too many games. All that fear, scarcity, lack of trust. But then you put conditions when it comes to a man entering your life. Only way a man can come into my life if he support me. Listen, ladies, women are the ones who are supposed to fulfill a man's ego to support their husbands, right? He's the one going out there putting his life on the line. Like I said, these are provider males, traditional men. Now, you at home. Okay, and if he works from home, he having you invest at least part-time into his business, and guess what? You get paid for that too. And you still get the money for being his wife. You get to live free of everything financially. That's a come up. Suppose your husband make $400,000 a year and you getting $60,000 a year, right? But your husband like, yo, baby, I'm gonna pay you $60,000 a year part time because I get $450,000. I make only $450,000. But I have business expenses and everything. But you are clear to get $60,000 a year. I will put you on paper as my wife. Or I will make you CEO. But you think about it, he won't say partners because he's the boss. He's leading. That's his shit. So he's not going to say, okay, I'm going to support you in your business. No, like that man is busy. Even if he's a doctor, he's busy. That man is even on call. Like that is crazy. Like ladies, I mean, you have to be like realistic here. If you want a husband, get on his program. I'm going to tell you right now, if you hurt, you toxic, dysfunctional, you haven't seek counseling. If you get a high value man, he said, listen, quit your job, set your accounts down. You're like, well, what if? Yo, it's done. Men like that aren't sticking around. It's too many women willing to jump in his lap, whether they're suitable or not. But He has the options. Ladies, not you, ever. Those dudes in your inbox, they just want to fuck. They're not kicking in your door, fighting over you to put a ring on your finger. Those would be options, okay? That would say you are a high-value woman. Men value who you are, what you're capable of. People value you in your community. Your network is strong as shit. Oprah Winfrey, that's a high-value woman. At one point in her life, she's older now, but that is a high-value woman. Rihanna, Beyonce, those are high-value women. Ciara, those are high-value women. Those women, except for Oprah, no disrespect, those women are 8, 9s, and 10s. You understand what I'm telling you? Even K. Michelle, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Naturally beautiful, fit women. You know, some are pregnant now. But you get the gist here. But those women, look, it's still hard for them to find husbands, or they don't have any. So you want a man to support you and have your back doing what? What is he supposed to be doing? What else is he supposed to sacrifice? What else he have to neglect, to give up? Yo, just rest in your femininity and be a woman. Allow that man to lead, provide, and protect, even assist him in protecting you from yourself. Because you're the one that's really doing the most harm to yourself. Stop lacking accountability. Take accountability. You cannot do it on your own. You think you can, but look how hard it is. Okay, yeah, you're managing, but look how stressed out you are. All the distress. All the attitudes getting mad. Stressed out, you can't sleep. You got to tend to the kids, go to work, or handle your business, tend to your kids. You're having problems with your baby daddy. Your side dude playing games, you know what I'm saying? Because your man, you feel as if he lost his job. You don't respect nothing about him anymore, But you need. Ladies, that's not how it goes. Fellas, you got to stop catering and bowing down. Stand on your backbone, all right? They are our women, okay? There's no slavery type stuff, but they belong to us, all right? We existed first. They belong to us. And regardless of how it goes in biblical terms, how a man was manipulated, deceived, if he wanted to do or go against the will of God, whatever the case is, not to get religious, but I'm just saying in the context of life itself, if they're making decisions, knowing right from wrong, and you do so anyway and give up your leadership, you give up your protection, you give up providing your what was it? Your knowledge and what you was given, you know, what you weren't supposed to do, what you were commanded not to do. That's what I was looking for. You went against the commandment of God, though, to fulfill a woman's desire, and you see what happens. So I'm not being funny here. This existed throughout the course of mankind. And the Garden of Eden, that was just one isolated place. There were already people in existence, because otherwise, you know, it is what it is. But that's a whole other topic. But at the end of the day, when you have a man that's trying to rest in his masculinity, and he wants to be a leader, he wants to be a provider, a protector, and all these things, but you saying, hold on, wait. Amidst all those things, and I know that's who make you who you are. But before we get involved, this is what I need you to do. How crazy does that sound? He has a program already in line. And you're saying, you're blowing the whistle. Wait, foul. Time out. That's not what you do. That's not how you do that. And that's why they say, either you get on his program or it's nothing at all. There's nothing wrong with a man supporting his wife. I'm for that we have our responsibilities within our marriages, or a man supporting his girlfriend. But what I'm telling you is this: allow a man to be a man, though. And if you have to take away that man's attention from fulfilling his purpose and establishing his legacy, though, that's a problem. Because you're telling him, okay, you're going this way, but I want to go that way. And that's not how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 9 minutes left. If there's anyone who want to, say something in regards to this conversation, feel free to do so. I don't mind taking in any callers. And the question is this: What do you think a provider male think or a man thinks when he hear a woman say, I need someone who will have my back? Like, do you take that as a red flag? As if she's involved in so much, like there's so much negativity going on, or does she mean have her back as far as supporting her on her endeavors, her goals, her desires? Which is, I mean, like I said, that's fine for some people, whoever does it. I don't knock it. But what do you think that a man would take that as a red flag though? Of her having some type of past or some type of history or even in present times. She's going through some type of dilemma or turmoil. Do you think that's the case or you think that's in a negative sense? Okay. Well, I did me a little half hour talk. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I just want to share some light and some insight on this whole topic here because there's nothing wrong, like I said, with the man supporting his wife. I mean, with a man supporting his woman, a husband supporting his wife, whatever the case is. But when you're dealing with a certain type of man, as I say, and as I said before, 90% of women, all women, okay, 90% in America, all women in America, okay, wants a man earning over six figures, at least six figures. I'm not going to say over. That means $1 million. So let's say 100 to 150K. Most women say, hey, okay, that's what I look at as a provider man. But then you want him to get on your program on top of what he's already established, though, to actually have a wife where she can rest at home. Or whatever the case is, it won't need any, nobody to watch your back or to have your back. Like you're a wife, like you're at home resting your femininity. I just don't understand that. So I have a guest coming in 2, 1. Hi Ashley, how's it going? Good evening, good evening.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining my talk.
I'm like, when you said the money figure, I was like totally in shock. That's why I came up. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, to me, I just think that's insane. But like, I was raised in a household where the women were the same as the men. So if you wanted something, you had to get out and earn it, just like they had to. So to me, I feel weird. Not to say like, I'm not saying anything against moms or people who take care of their wives or whatever, but for me, I feel weird having somebody take care of me, to be honest with you. I think it's strange because I've been raised to be so independent.
Right.
So I'd want to be able to give back monetarily too.
Right. Well, see, that's good, but you have some women. Okay, well, modern times. So because that's the problem that most men are having is independent women, what we call modern women, right? All due respect,
Yeah.
though, is that when they are independent like that, it is kind of they do look at it as if, well, I don't want anything for free. I do want to invest something, but you do have some who want to just keep what they have but spend what he has. Or they don't want to deal with a man unless they're making, okay, for example, you have some women that
I see what you mean. Yeah.
He has to be making, okay, 300,000. I make 100K a year, but I want a man that's making at least 300,000. So they was like, they look at it as if,
I think 100K is I think 100K is impressive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, to me, I don't know, like, I mean, I just don't, I don't know, maybe I'm different, but I just don't really care about the money thing. But like, to me, as long as I can do my thing when it comes to like my hobbies and stuff, and I don't mean them doing it for me, I just mean getting to enjoy myself and do my own thing as well as them.
Right.
I'll support the guy no matter what he does, even if it runs me into the ground. Unfortunately, I've done it to my detriment. But I think the thing that shocked me was when you said about having my back. Like, I think I see it as totally different. When I see who'll have my back, I mean more in a protective stance. Like, just knowing that if someone's going to hurt me or, something like, dire situations, that's when I would want them to have my back. Just to support me and to know that they would protect me.
Thank you, right? But see, that's why I brought up the whole thing. If a woman wants a man that's a leader, protector, and provider, because that's what they say they want, right? So why, in essence, would you still say, hold on, wait, but I need you to have my back? Like, is there some type of fear there? Like, is she that she has trust issues. So that's why I brought up the talk. Like, okay, he's a protector, provider, leader, whatever the case is. So what's the whole fear thing about him? But you need him to have your back. Like, what's going on? So when a man hears that or sees it, he's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, what are you doing? Because my wife, I'm making this X amount of dollars, like I base the income on, 6 figures. My wife is going to be at home. So what do you mean have your back? Like, what are you talking about? So right there, he would automatically put her as not being suitable, though. So, and she would say, oh, he don't want me. He think you're too good. And it goes to bashing, the insults, the shaming, and the guilt trips and all that other stuff.
I don't like guilt trips.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. I just I understand if you're a provider, obviously, you want to be able to take care of them monetarily. Because, if it was the other way around, and for some reason he couldn't, I would happily do it for the person I love too. But I guess my thing is just because let's face it, stereotypically the male is the stronger, more dominant one. I just like the idea of knowing that they would protect me, but I don't mean in a monetary sense. I mean in the emotional, physical sense. But I'm really protective too. So I feel like it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be expected of him.
Right. Yeah, because she mentioned about the whole job thing, like, well, if I'm working or I wanted to start my business, because this was a post that I put up, like, what do a woman mean when she says that? But how does a provider male, leader, protector, provider, how would he see that post? Is it a red flag? And that's how the conversation started. So, like I said, a man invests so much of his time, effort, energy, resources, all that stuff, but you want him to put that on hold. Suppose you are working and you having problems and, you need him to have your back, somebody, whatever the case is. Men don't want to deal with that type of stress. He needs some type of peace.
True, though, right? You go to your partner to be able to get away from life's bullshit, not face it.
Right, you get into it with your coworker or your boss says something, whether it's sexual or y'all just don't get along, whatever the case is. You come home, but guess what happened? Like, we just no. That's why we say stay home. Work for me part-time. You good, you get your money, you still get the same amount of money you was making, but you're working part-time. And that's just for being my wife. You know what I mean?
Really?
Or some men will have
I
joint
get
account,
it, but
or whatever. Yeah. I'm talking about men who do make that type of money. Yeah, because they could have been making that money for like 7
if you're
8
already
years.
married.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But I just feel like I feel like a mooch. Like I'd feel like I'd be like, okay, you can take care of me while I sit on my ass. Like that's how I feel. I feel like I wasn't giving to the relationship as much, to be honest with you.
That's how some men are, because like I say, they work at least 92, 94 hours. Like, they work a lot, so they're not really spending their money. And some of them are lonely to where, like, fuck it, she may not like me, but this is, we have a prenuptial, whatever the case is. I would still vet her as a wife because I don't want to be made a fool, or I'm not going to really, waste my time or anything. But she will be as best as he can get her as far as her being suitable, though. He even go down in looks and everything. She don't have to make 20,000, 50,000. That doesn't matter. Number one, he can't spend that. Number two, as I said, he wants you to stay at home. So yeah.
But then how is people like Oprah, who works all the time and stuff like that, how is she considered an 8, 9, or 10 if she's actually a very independent, hardworking woman?
No, what I said, except for Oprah, no disrespect, but all the other ones I named were 8, 9, 10. Rihanna, Sierra, Beyonce, K. Michelle.
Okay, I wondered what you meant. I was like, what? But she's the epitome of a woman.
I said high value, but she's high value. I don't know.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, but she's still high value, though. She does a lot for the world. So with the cancers, owning the schools in Africa, that's her network is strong from movies and that's high value woman.
She's a humanitarian, yeah.
But look at her lifestyle. I don't know if she had a marriage. I don't know if it was real or not, but just look at her lifestyle.
I know, right?
You see, and she wasn't
married, but she's long-term, yeah.
Right, you see how a long-term relationship went, and now she's talking about something that happened, she's going to have to donate all her money, right? And poor Rihanna, the same thing she going with her boyfriend. Now she's pregnant, and now he's cheating, and that is a high-value woman. She is a billionaire. Rihanna has her own clothing line. She does a lot. But look at the type of men, and that's what I'm saying. The type of men like that, you have to make better choices. You never know who you'll end up with. So, it is what it is. The best you can do is try. But
I
just
know, right? You really don't know who they are until you really get to know them. And usually, too many women are already sucked in by the time they realize.
right, and I feel it's so sad because some dudes is they're good at fooling you, man. They men are chameleons as well. It's not just the women. It is not.
No, it
You
well,
know,
and both are. Yep,
yeah,
both
everybody,
are
yeah,
not just
doing
males either.
right, yeah. But them, some guys is they vicious too. Though I tell you, they get a woman for all they got. I seen American Greed enough to know about that.
Isn't that the truth? All right, but I like
What?
you. You're cool. I'm gonna give you a follow.
Oh no, thank you,
All
thank
right, I'm
you.
gonna hop down. I'm gonna keep listening. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, you too. All right, everybody. I am about to head out, so if anybody want to come in, come in. You know, I'm real cool. I do talk a lot of shit though, but once I get people on my talk, man, listen, I'm really laid back, man. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm just very direct. I'm one of those assertive guys. It's just like zero tolerance, no nonsense type of guy. I just give it to you straight like it is. I don't know, but I just be me, man. You understand what I'm saying? Sigma Male Diaries, baby. Yeah, remember, man, follow me on YouTube. Hit me up on Podpage, Spotify. I'm on Radio Public. I'm on Amazon Music. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on Stitcher. I'm on the Cast. I know it's always one more. Oh, Red Circle. Ladies and gentlemen, hit me up on Red Circle, all right? Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed the talk. Thanks for the support. And this is your host, King Nigel of Sigma Male Diaries. Some of you might like what I say, but then again, some of you might not. But I don't give a fuck. And I really don't. Y'all stay safe and be blessed. And